Okay, so first of all, thank you. This video is targeting to the questions, altogether 6 questions from Florence. And I actually asked her to send these questions to the group instead of private messaging me. The reason why I'm asking her to do that is because the answers, the response that I'm going to give all of you, okay, to her actually will benefit you, because that is a following up of typical questions that we see after we have gone through this thing called 5130. So I'm answering these questions one by one, and I'm going slow so that you can capture. And what part of the reason why I'm doing this in form of a YouTube video is because YouTube Live is very easy to produce content. And when I have created a content using videos, I can use it, extract certain pieces in future so that that becomes my artifacts. One thing you want to know about your teaching, that is, you do not want to just give the answer away, like either a phone call or even just a Facebook text messages. I'm very mindful with what I create because I want to create assets for 2 reasons. One, as I said, is the artifact. What is artifact? Artifact is actually your online or digital asset. You want to start creating this so that you don't need to reproduce in future. And sometimes when you're creating these videos, you can repurpose them by way of a podcast or by way of a blog post. And you can recycle them anywhere based on your business plan. So this is first thing you want to take note, artifact. The second thing you want to take note is your questions, your students' question could well be questions from other of your students. So in order to leverage time, you don't want to repeat one after one. It's good to actually put it in the form of a video, share with everybody in the group so that everybody can take his or her own time to consume the content. So I don't need to spend time to answer this question once and for all. So just imagine in future, if someone like Florence had similar questions, all I need to do is just to just send this video out and ask the person to watch these pieces. Then I don't need to spend time doing this. So I'm doing this once and for all. So if you are running a future events in future, when your students ask you a question, consider this approach. Don't just have the decency and urgency to just answer the question, which is also the reason why I asked Florence to do this. And I actually took my time. I didn't reply to her instantaneously last night. Instead, I took time to go through the question and see what should the answer be. Okay, question number 1. Should I post on my fan page or personal page? So this is what we call living in the world of polarity. What is polarity? Polarity means that it's either this or that. Why? Because the world has created this thing called polarity. There's always the left and the left and the left and the right. Then there's a day and then there's a night, right? And there's a south, there's a north. There's a west, there is a east. Because this is how we live, how we learn. So the question is phrased in such a way that should I post either this or that? How about the answer? Both. Should you post on Facebook fan page or personal page? I would say both. Why not? Does it actually take a lot of time to do both? Your question, your answer, your call. But Jack, I've got so many, I don't have the time. So the question I have for you is this. Can you leverage something called third-party scheduling so that you can post, you can spend time creating all these posts, okay? Do it once and for all for the next 30 days. Just lock yourself in your room, create all these posts, and then let the scheduling software do the posting for you. Unfortunately, since 31st August 2018, yeah, that's the date, I'm not aware of any third-party scheduling that allows you to post your scheduled post directly to the Facebook personal profile, because Zuckerberg decided that Facebook is meant for friends and friends and relatives, or family. That's why a lot of third-party scheduling software that were able to post to Facebook personal profile has stopped since then. Okay, so for personal page, you've got to really spend time putting your post there. Some people like me, I'm a bit lazy. So when I'm scheduling posts on my fan page, all I do is just to get somebody to do the share to my personal page. I'll leave it to you to decide whether which method will suit you, but I would suggest that it is a or change to an fan page, personal page. Okay? What about I post in fan page and then share in my personal page? Yeah, that's exactly what I said. So question number 3 is that what about if I post in fan page and share to my personal page? And this is eventually, I believe, lead people to my fan page for my brand awareness. Well, the question is this. You want to continue your engagement on fan page. Now, the truth is this. I'm sure you can speak to Melvin, David. They will give you the same insight. Unfortunately, Facebook decided that fan page is meant for businesses. So if you want to have high engagement on fan page, the only way out is to do paid advertising. Okay, so that is most people's thoughts. Now, if you are Dan students, I'm not sure whether some of you are Dan students. The question is why Dan does not need to do that. The reason is that Dan has an internal team where they will heavily engage on the fan page. This is the internal sales team people. All they do is they answer questions. So when Dan has a post, people start asking questions, and then Dan students in the internal team will do the engagement. So Dan actually has a lot of Facebook fan page that is being banned for advertising. And Dan does not need to do any Facebook advertising nowadays because he has grown his internal sales team to do the engagement. So I want you to think about how you are able to have engagement on your fan page. The reason why I'm asking you is that I don't know whether you have the money spent on Facebook advertising. I mean, that is the other question that you need to consider. Do you want to go for paid advertising or organic advertising? Organic advertising on personal profile is much easier, right? Because after all, you can't do a Facebook ad on organic post. I'm sorry, let me say again, you cannot do a Facebook ad on your personal profile post, right? So you have to put your stuff on the fan page and then run an ad on that. So I'll leave it to you to decide what works for you. This is an entire conversation on paid advertising versus organic growth and what sorts of strategies will work for you in terms of the paid advertising arena. Okay, so this is a bit advanced, and I'm actually the one focusing on a lot on the organic traffic. Because if you want a paid advertising strategy, you can talk to Mel, you can talk to David. That will actually, they are the expert on this. So I'm more on the organic growth side. So if you get so the third question is that you mentioned in my YouTube video to evening, as you share, respond to all those who post like. If you get hundreds of likes, respond to all. What is the answer? What do you think? What do you think? Remember, I said the key is engagement. So if you got 100 of likes, would you want to actually convert these likes into a conversation? So if you think that, oh my God, there's too many, okay, that means there's a sales opportunity in front of you, and you let your little voice say to you, yeah, there's too many, I can't do it. So do you see the conversation, how it goes? So the question for you is that, what do you do? Are you hungry? Are you eager to convert these likes into conversation? It's entirely up to you. I can't answer this for you because that is part of your literal voice personal development training. Most people don't know they can do this because they don't know, right? Some people now know they can do this, but they will not. So notice the differences between the word can and will. Can is always about ability to do something, which means that this is a skill. So now you have learned the skills of doing virtual events. You learn the skill how to create engagement using 513 studio strategies. The question is this: will you execute these strategies all the way? It's your willingness. And the only thing that will stop you is yourself. And the only reason why you stop you is that little voice, the voice in between your ears is too loud, that stops you. Does that make sense? So my take is very simple. You can choose not to do anything, but you know what? When your money is at stake, when your wallet is pretty empty, when the bill comes and you need to pay, I'm not sure whether you will say no. Okay, so that is a question you can answer because I know that you know the answer. You don't want to hear from another person. Just trust yourself that this is the case. Number 4, I noticed some posting by others, there is no share button, only like and comment. Sometimes I see interesting posts, especially video, that I would like to share in my fan page, but there's no share button and cannot copy the link. The reason why is because these posts have been set only limited to the friends. That's it. Or specific group of people. So when you do not have the word share at the bottom near the comment section, it is because the setting of these posts have been set as only available to friends or limited people. That's why you don't see the word share. So you ask the person, I would like to share your post. So all you need to do is just to send a private message, or you can call the person if you know how to call the person. Just say, hey, you know what? Can you just change your post to public so that I can share for you? And what do you think the person will say? Well, somebody share my post. Of course, let me do it. Let me do the change for you. Let me change the privacy setting for you. Okay? So that is to incentivize the person to change the privacy setting from a limited setting to friends or certain groups of people to public. And I want to encourage all of you to remember this point that we will cover in Video Hero should you decide to come to a Video Hero. I know David has offered this program during the class. That is, Facebook has no privacy on Facebook. The fact that when I'm creating this video for Florence, my phone is capturing my voices, my audio sound. And WhatsApp is going to do something to capture certain words. And the next day, you'll notice because of certain things I say, there will be an ad on Facebook sending to me. And you wonder why, because unfortunately, there's no privacy on social media. If you think that by setting your post to friends, to limited amount of people, and therefore that becomes private, think about it. The only way to avoid all this publicity is not to appear on social media. You set limited setting, it's not going to help you. Remember this, there's no privacy in the arena of social media. Once you expose yourself to the social media, forget about privacy. All right? So you might as well make some money since the privacy is not an issue anymore. Does that make sense? So that would be my answer. Okay, number 5, if I blocked certain people in the past, now because of the business nature, I am advised to go public. So will these people I block also get to see my post? What is the answer? You have blocked these people. Of course, they can't see your post, right? So the question I have for you is that, what's the basis or reason why you block these people? Now, part of my reasons for blocking certain people is because I found that they are nuisance. When I say nuisance, it means that they have either approached me privately, asked for sales. They have actually said something which is against my value, or we are really not friends anymore for whatever reason. So I always talk about my former business coach, and we are not working with each other anymore. There was a time he decided to blast me a lot of bad fame comments on his post, saying that I'm not loyal or what. You know what happened? I did actually block him for a while, but nowadays I didn't block him. Like, he can see my post if he chooses to. I still see his post. Like, if you are not offending me, I'm not offending you, I'm happy to remain as a person online. I don't necessarily need to block you. So I want you to think about what is the reason why you block people. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't block. There are people that you should block, like negative people, that no matter what, you don't foresee them, they will do business with you. Yes, you can choose to block these people. I mean, that's entirely up to you. But to answer your questions, once you block these people, they will never see your post. That's true. Okay, so that's easy. Now, number 6, which is the final one for this video, 40 minutes, okay? If I have 1 or 2 prospects to discuss further, must go to Zoom, or can I go on WhatsApp video call to communicate further with the prospect? This is a very common question. The reason why people don't like to call the person is because you do not like to be sold. I've talked to the internal sales team, the one that I'm training all these cold callers right now. The interesting thing is that the question came up. Why do you not like to pick up the call? Because I'm afraid to be sold. And you know why I'm asking this? I'm digressing to this part. Is because, number 1, do you want a video call? Do you want an audio call? Either way, that is just a call. It's not about you, because your question is that must I go to Zoom, or must I go to WhatsApp video? The question is not answered by you, it's answered by your prospect. Your prospect will then give you the preference. Let your prospect determine the medium through which you have this conversation. It's not about you. So you may say, well, I want a Zoom call. But if your prospect say, I think it's an audio call will be okay, then are you saying that, well, no, I insist that it's a Zoom call, right? So let the prospect decide what is the best way forward. I'm not going to impose my preference on the other guy. That's how I answer your question. The question is this: the reason are you asking this because I noticed the languaging, must I go to Zoom or can I go to WhatsApp call? So you are saying that you are not comfortable. I'm not sure whether this is true, so just let me know. You are not comfortable using Zoom because must I use Zoom? Nobody tells you that you is a must, right? So if you think that Zoom is not something you enjoy, then do something else, not a problem. I do calls on WhatsApp too. And sometimes when I'm doing, not sometimes, in coaching, I will do Zoom calls. No matter what, I will always do Zoom calls. So it's different setting, different rules. So when you're talking to a prospect, are they comfortable speaking online? Are they comfortable showing their face? So if they are comfortable, then it's entirely up to you how you do it. Some prospect may say, I just want to have a call. So are you saying that, no, I must see your face. In order to talk to you, I must see you. I mean, this is your projection to the other person. Not cool. Let your prospect determine the mode of communication. That's how I see that. Unless there's already a prior relationship. That's why I keep saying let your prospect and you haven't had the relationship yet. So you can't say, oh, because this is my call, my rule. No, you can't, because it's your prospect. Now, when this prospect becomes your client, then you can insist, this is the way I do things. You must follow my rules. You haven't established the relationship yet. So you cannot impose my room, my rule. My room, my rule. You can't. Does that make sense? So to sum up, typically, these are very common questions on Facebook. And I thank Florence to ask all these questions, because I'm sure some of you who are watching this video, this particular one, may have this question. All I'm saying to you is that explore. The sickening thing about Facebook, unfortunately, is the algorithm keeps changing. So what happened 2 years ago may not happen anymore. Or because Zuckerberg decided to change something, and you know what, Facebook, some strategies that will work today may not work 2 years later. Then what are you going to do? So that's why I'm saying that social media marketing is something that you can't learn just once and for all. You have to keep track. Choose which platform you decide to show face, to show to the world what you offer, and then be good at that. Always stay tip top of the changes, the updates. And by doing that, you know how you can adjust your marketing strategy on that particular social media platform. So I give you an example here. Another common question people will ask is that, should I be on Facebook or IG or LinkedIn? So again, it's not about you. Typically, the question is that, where are you seeing your prospects? If your prospects are 50 years old, do you think they will go to IG? If these prospects are B2B companies, do you think they will go to IG or Facebook? So always remember, where you can find your prospects is where you should focus on your social media. Just because we talk about Facebook doesn't mean that any single Tom, Dick, Harry will be on Facebook. So question is, where do you find these people? Do you know which social media platform they are hiding? Or sometimes they may not even on social media platform. Then how? So this is another common question that you will see. All I'm saying is that you must know where your audience is. So a bit more advanced level, I'm actually talking about customers' avatar. Okay, it is something that I'm working with my group, because unless you know who these people are, who you are serving, exactly, precision, just the bullseye, 5130 strategy still has its flaw. And I say this once again, some of you don't get the response. I do see that some of you don't get the response, because when you tag me, I can see anything. Some of you get awesome response, some of you don't. Does it mean the strategy doesn't work? Then you ask yourself, why would some other people get the response? So if you say the strategy doesn't work, you're actually pushing the blame to the strategy. Nothing is going to work. You have to make it work. Why would some other people get response? Why not you? So the question is that, number one, have you been frequently showing what you offer to the world on your social media? You cannot just ask for a sales out of nowhere. Hey, comment 5 below. When people don't even know you, how the hell do they come up with the 5? Right? So therefore, your frequency of interaction with whoever on social media becomes key, and which is the reason why I'm saying to all of you that you have to start engaging. You have to start acknowledging people, even though it is just a GIF, GIF. You see on my Facebook, you just follow what I do on my Facebook personal profile. I will engage every single one, either a very simple word, awesome, or sometimes I do a GIF. That is engagement. When you have done this, then the Facebook algo will push your post up. And Facebook algo will see that you are a person which is worth, whose feed is worth being shown. And more people will get to see your post. So if you do not engage, then what do you think Facebook will say? Well, why do I want to push your post up? Because in the first place, you don't engage. Does that make sense? So do it, engagement. And the another thing is that you may not be very clear with your audience, which is why I hope one fine day at these advanced level courses that I'm teaching, I'm able to work with you on this thing called customer's avatar and customer's value journey. People pay $30,000 to learn all this stuff, but I'm teaching now. So I hope that one fine day I get to see it, to be able to work with you. And once you know the bullseye, your 5130 strategy will go like no one else except you. I mean, saying again is that you will go awesome. Okay, you will work very nicely. All right, so with that 22 minutes of my video, I'm happy to give this to Florence. I'll post it to the group so that Florence will see. Whoever is browsing the virtual groups, you will see that too. All right, so until we next meet, Jack here signing off, and all good wishes.